Hi Babs, welcome to our YouTube channel. If you are seeing me for the first time, my name is Charlene. I usually do my YouTube content with Calvin, but today I am filming this alone because this is my story and I will tell it alone. So we have only two rules in this family or in this house, is that our Babs do not skip the ads, and please subscribe to the channel. Okay, so I'm just gonna hit straight to the point. As you guys have seen, the caption is how I survived suicide. For those that does not know what is suicide, suicide is an attempt to kill yourself or to take your life. So trigger warning. If you're an emotional person, if you don't like hearing about such things, please skip the video, because I will be telling this story in detail. I think this is my first story time, and I know that I am not the best of the best storytellers. So bear with me. If I do skip on any parts of this story, feel free to ask me the questions in the comment section, and I'll answer if it's questions that I can answer. But I am going to be as transparent as possible. Another thing is, most of the people will be hearing the story at first hand. I think a few knows that I had previously attempted to take my life, but not too many knows how or and why. My husband also had the story today at first hand. He says that he had previously asked me why did I do it. He said that I did not answer, so I'm guessing that if I did not answer and I was giving him vague answers, I was probably not ready to talk about it, or I thought I told him. So yeah, what else? There's something that I needed to, okay, so yeah, I will be telling the story in as much details as possible, and I won't be mentioning anybody's names. I won't be mentioning names because this is my story, so I am not trying to get anybody involved in the story. So I will definitely not be mentioning the people that were involved in this whole thing. The people that I'm willing to mention are my family, and how this has affected them, and how they have been with me through the journey, as well as my husband, because he got there just in time. So I'm going to start with giving you guys the background story of how I grew up. So I was raised by, I'm also going to try to talk this whole story in English if possible, so that my other subscribers from the neighboring countries can also understand, and also so that I don't use my vernac language, so that other people who don't understand Spedi can also understand the story, and hopefully it teaches somebody something. So I'm going to give you guys a background story of how I was raised, so that you better understand why I had attempted to take my life. And I hope I'm audible, because I don't have a mic with me, so I'll try also to up the volume as I edit. So I was raised by my mom and my stepdad. Yeah, I was raised by my mom and my stepdad, and then I come from a family of 5 siblings. There's 5 of us, and I am the second born. I have 3 siblings that comes after me, and I have an older brother, so I am the second born. So I was raised by my stepdad, a very good man. Okay, so after my mom got married, we moved to Middelburg in 2007. Yes, we moved to Middelburg in 2007. That's where we went to stay. We moved out of my grandmother's house to stay with my mother and my dad in Middelburg. I'm gonna stop referring to my dad as my stepdad, because he was my dad. He very much played his daddy role in our lives. So we moved to stay in Middelburg. That's after my mom was married, to stay with my mom and my dad. At the time when we moved, it was we were 4. My youngest brother was not born yet. Yeah, we were 4. So we moved to stay in Middelburg. Moved out of my grandmother's house in Denelton. My grandmother stayed in Denelton, so we moved to Middelburg to stay with my mom and my dad. And I wouldn't say we had, actually not even I wouldn't say, we didn't have the fanciest living condition, I would put it. So in 2009, in 2008, my youngest brother was born, and in 2009 I got hit by the sad news that my mom had passed away. So post my mom passing away, I was took in by a family, because remember I was still in school, so I was taken in by a family that took care of me, because remember I was a girl child at the time, so I definitely needed like a motherly care, because obviously I was going to probably start my period soon, and my breasts were going to start being painful, and I was still in school. So there's a family that I feel that till today I'm still indebted to, like so much. Yeah, they really took care of me, and I still say that one day I'm going to go to that mother and thank her the way she deserves to be thanked, all in God's timing. So I stayed with that family, who stayed behind to stay with my dad as my older brother and my younger brother who comes after me. My little sister and my youngest brother, the last born, went to stay with my grandmother at home. Remember, my youngest brother at the time was just a year old when my mom passed, and my little sister, she was young. I think she was still in creche. Yeah, she was very young. So let me see. Yeah, she was still in creche. So they stayed with my grandmother, because we were still in school when my mom passed away. My mom passed away September 2009. So after she passed, how I found out that my mom passed away is I was going to school, because remember I was staying with the family, but the family was not staying too far from where my daddy's house was, or where my dad used to stay. So we took the same transport going to school. So I remember it as clear as daylight. I think it was on a Thursday. I was busy with September tests. We were writing tests at the time, and on that particular day I was writing an English test. and I was walking to the transport where my older brother and my younger brother would wait for me, for us to take the transport to school together. So as I was walking down, my little brother, I think he was in grade, what grade was Milton in at the time? I don't remember, but he was quite young. I think probably he was in grade 3 or 4, somewhere there, but he was pretty young. So as I was walking towards, he approaches me, and I don't know how they actually, you know, boys are so strong. Like, I don't know how they held it in. I still feel that till today, I don't know, but I still feel that they didn't mourn the way they wanted to. So it's easier for them in their adulthood to have breakdowns from time to time. So as I was walking, approaching them, my brother is standing just there alone, and I couldn't pick up the I'm excitedly walking to school to catch transport to school, you know. I couldn't even pick up the energy with him, with my older brother. But my younger brother walks towards me. My younger brother walks towards me, and he says to me, Charlene, Mama me as oorlede. It was, I don't know, I didn't hear that. I heard it, but I didn't hear it. It didn't make sense. Like, what do you even mean? You see? So I want to brush it off, but I want to hear him say it again so that I can believe it, you know, also that I can actually hear that he's saying what I think he's saying. And then I say that, and then my brother looks at me, and then he says, Mama's oorlede.
Listen, daughter, pay attention, pray and listen, hear your father. These lies they told are so familiar, they will haunt you, they will kill you, keep you hostage, king will heal you. Before him, adore him, he will give you everything. Come and take your
Can't keep
wedding
going
ring back to what I used to know. But please hold my hand as I go down this road. Can't keep going back to what I used to know.
I'm sorry about that. Oorlede, it means mommy has passed away. I screamed my lungs out. I screamed my lungs out. And that is like a suburb neighborhood. It's very, very quiet. So with that scream, like, I think 2 or 3 people walked out of the because it's a trigger. Like, the moment somebody screams like that, like the neighborhood gets alert that what is happening outside, you know. I screamed my lungs out. I was trying to scream the shock out of me. I was trying to scream the disbelief out of me. I screamed so hard. I screamed so loud. Walking all the way back to my family, the family that took me in. As I was screaming, they sort of walked out of the house, and I didn't even have to say much. I think then they just knew that something really terrible had happened. So yeah, that is how I found out that my mom passed away. After burying my mother, we continued to stay in Meadowburg because we had to continue to school from September until the next year, you know. And then the next year, I had to move back to Denelton. My brother's staying behind to stay with my dad. So I had went back to stay in Denelton to stay with my grandmother, who instantly became a mother. I was like, she knew just how to do it. Grandmothers always knows, you know. So we stay with my grandmother. You know, my grandmother, I think that woman humbles me so much. My grandmother literally would go out of her way to give us the best, you know, obviously with the support of the financial assistant of my dad, who was in Middelburg. But my grandmother did so much to like fend for us and to care for us and to make sure that we had the best. My grandmother was even popularly known in Denelton for selling oatlere. The oatlere is thrifted clothes. Like, she would sell thrifted clothes, and just to make sure that, you know what, we don't look like kids around the neighborhood, a mother, kids that don't have a mother, you know. She really stepped in so big, like her teachings, the way she did things, you know. I remember, like, my grandmother would say that she wants us to go to a private school, and listen, I kid you not, she took us to a private school that she could afford at the time. And like, that is something I really, really would never take for granted. My grandmother really stepped in and stepped up so big. She filled in the void. I never really had breakdowns of mourning my mom as much. I think also because I was not as young because when my mom passed away, I think I was 11 years. So I understood what it means to lose a mom. I understood what it means when somebody's gone to heaven and they're never going to come back again, and I'm never going to see them, you know. But my grandmother really filled that void, you know. So in Denelton, who was staying there, it was my little brother, which is my mom's last born, my younger sister, and myself. So growing up, all I knew to be my day one, all I knew as a mother was my grandmother, you know, because I feel like the years with my mom, our years together, were very limited. I don't really have many memories of us together. You can imagine, I'm starting to now, you know, get to know and experience my mom more, probably at the age of 4 or 5 years, and then 5-6 years down the line, she passes away, like, you know. So yeah, my grandmother really like became a mother. So 2011, my mom passed away 2009. Then 2010 I went to stay with my dad. 2011 my brothers came back to stay with us. Yeah, my brothers came back to stay with us, and I think at the time my brothers came back to stay with us, because I remember that not me saying Kelvin, my brother Dion matriculated in Tejani Secondary School, so it means that before he was even in grade 11 or 12, he had to come back, and then he came to stay with us. So 2011, late 2011, my dad passed away. My dad passed away. I strongly believe we never really got the background story of his passing, but I know how he passed away. When he passed away, he suffered a lot of depression, I'd like to believe. A lot. Because, you know, there's just something about the stigma around people saying men should be strong, men shouldn't be mourning. I don't know, you lose a partner and you have to go on with life like that. So he had started also being a very, very, very heavy drinker. And he had started being a very, very heavy drinker. So I would strongly believe that he couldn't cope, but all he was taught to do, or all he was expected to do, was to be strong. So he passed away. 2011. So he passed away 2011, and because he's originally from Cape Town, he had to be buried in Cape Town, and we couldn't attend the funeral because I think they couldn't afford to transport all the kids down to Cape Town at the time. So yeah, 2011, my dad passed away, and life went on. Life went on, but I think it hit my little brother a bit more, because I think when he passed away, my little brother was there. Not I think, yes, he was there. Because he said he went to play, and when he came back, he tried to wake my dad up. He tried to shake him to wake up, and then he wouldn't wake up. And then he stayed with him. He just thought that probably, because he was young as well, he just thought that probably he's tired, he doesn't want to wake up, you know. So he said he felt he was starving, he was hungry at the time, and then he wanted my dad to ask my dad what can he make to eat. And then he tried to wake my dad up again, and my dad wouldn't wake up. I think it's not my dad not waking up that broke my heart so much, so much. It's my younger brother experiencing all that as a kid, and being the first person at hand to report this to the neighbors, to whoever he could call out for. And it's him asking for help, not understanding that what is death, this person is normal. When he went to call for help, he did not know that he had just lost a parent. So yeah, I think that's what really took away from me and sucked out any strength within me. So yeah, 2011, my dad passed away. He was buried. And then in 2012, 2013, I think 2013. Okay, in Dennilton, we used to stay. It used to be myself, my siblings, and my grandmother and my great-grandmother, my grandmother's mother. So my grandmother was also taking care of her mother at the time when we stayed together. So we had 2 cuckoos and my grandfather. Well, my grandfather used to stay in Groblersdal, so he would come every weekend. He would work during the week and come on weekends. So my great-grandmother also stayed with us, and as in 2011 my dad passed away, and 2013 my grandmother passed away also. So it's like every second year I'm losing someone. So grief really took a toll on me, and I think I started to realize the change that happens in everything as we lose people, like in my family, my siblings and my grandmother and my granddad. It really took a toll on us, and I had no more strength to lose any more people. So 2014 I moved to late 2014 I moved to Hammanskraal to stay with my grandmother's sister and my sister. She's my sister. But my aunt, she's basically my aunt, but I address her as my sister. So, and we stayed together, and my grandfather, of which is my grandmother's sister's husband. I don't know if it makes sense, but yeah, he's also my grandfather. So my grandfather also passes away. Crazy business. Also passes away 2015. Yes. 2014. Was it 2014 or 2015? Between the two. Yeah, between the two. No, I think it's 2015. Yes, it's 2015. That's when my grandfather also passed away. So now I'm 2015 or 16. I'm lying. 2015 or 16. One of the two. Yeah. So now within me, I think I started living with fear. Like serious fear. Like I started living with fear of losing the only parent that was there at the time for us, of which is my grandmother. I started living with this fear every single day. I was scared of losing my grandmother. I was scared because it did not make sense of what life would be without my grandmother. It did not make sense how I, as a student, my brother who's not working at the time, would take care of these kids. And also I had a baby. I had Jaden when I was still a baby. I was still a baby myself. A baby having a baby. So I had Jaden when I was still young. I think I was in matric. So it basically meant that I had to take care of my siblings, had to take care of my son. Like, how was that gonna work out? My mother didn't have any siblings. My dad's siblings were far in Cape Town living their life. Who was gonna step in? Who was gonna step in to take care of us should anything happen to my grandmother? So I really started to live with fear. I had zero strength in me, zero ability, zero financial capacity to be a mother, to be a deputy parent to anyone, you know. So in 2018 in 2018 my grandmother started feeling ill. She started falling ill, but she would, like, there's something about my grandmother. She was so strong. Like, I don't know how she did it. She started falling ill, but she would go on, like, with her day as normal. Like not really normal. Like, she would be in pain, but doing house chores, taking care of my siblings, because at the time now at home, who's there? It's my brother who comes after me, my little sister, and my youngest brother. My older brother, where was he at the time? Where was my brother? I think he was staying either in Middelburg or Siyabusa, but he had a piece job. He had found a job, Well, it wasn't much of a job, but he had something that kept him busy and away from home, You can imagine, after you matriculated, staying at home would just like label you as this person, especially local guys. So he had left home. He stayed elsewhere. He stayed either in Middelburg or Siyabusa. I just can't comprehend which part of the two places he stayed. So now there's 3 of my siblings staying with my grandmother and my grandfather, who comes on weekends. So my grandmother started falling ill. Like, she would complain that like when she breathes or when she coughs, like, she feels pain. Like her respiratory was affected, her lungs were affected. So I don't know, because my grandmother, I had a difficult time believing that she's really, really in pain, because she didn't really like want to show it to us. I would understand that my grandmother was she's feeling pain and but then it didn't hit me that much that she's in that much pain, and she didn't want to go to hospital. One thing about my grandmother, she didn't want to go to hospital. So it was quite, I could say, difficult to believe her that, not even to believe her, to actually see that this person is in pain. She's really in pain and she needs to go to hospital. I think also she put up a really strong front, maybe so that we wouldn't take her to hospital, or she wouldn't be taken to hospital. And she was, I say 3 of my siblings there, and Jaden. She was also taking care of Jaden. So there was like 4 kids and herself at home, my grandfather, who came on weekends. So I was going to school at the time. I had finished matric, I was in varsity, and I remember this one day I got called and I was told that my grandmother was admitted in hospital. I then I realized that this has gotten really serious. This has gotten so serious. So no guys, I'm missing parts. Why am I so forward? I'm really ahead. Hey, a year before my grandmother was admitted, that is when I had a breakdown, and a breakdown of emotions, that should anything happen to my grandmother, we are screwed as a family. We will be a laughing stock of our village. We will be the poorest of the poorest. We will be kids, babas nang mama, babas nang papa, babas nang kuku. We will be living in those houses where the kids arena diaparo, arena dijo. We've got no one to care for us, because like it really made no sense to lose my grandmother. So that's when I fell into depression. I think because I had a lot of fear of the unknown, and I had told myself that rather I die first before anything could happen to my grandmother, rather I die first, so that I do not live to witness the poverty that we will be struck in, So I remember how I actually attempted suicide. So it was during the week. I really do not remember what day it was, but it was during the week. And I could not take the emotions anymore because I used to cry for days. I could not take the emotions anymore. I could not when I used to talk with my grandmother on the phone, she used to tell me that, oh, she's in so much pain, but she'll be fine, you know. And I think in my mind I just knew that anything could happen to this woman, and if anything happens, like I said, guys, listen, we will be not even a laughing stock, but we will be the talk of the village, because we would be so poor. So I remember having a breakdown. I remember this one day I woke up and I had money and I took a taxi. I went to the mall. At the time, remember, I was still in Amanskraal. I went to Jubilee Mall, and the whole way I was just thinking about I was not thinking about anyone at the time. I know it was very selfish of me at the time, but okay, before I tell the story about going to the mall, I just want to tell you guys that I was getting counseling. I was seeing a therapist at the time, the weeks before the week that led to me trying to commit suicide. I was seeing a psychologist because I had really, really bad breakdowns, and that is when she diagnosed me with PTSD. But she said post-traumatic stress disorder or something like that. So that is, I had a diagnosis before I attempted suicide. So I went to Jubilee Mall, and then when I got there, I walked into Tops. I bought a bottle of vodka. I don't want to mention the name of the brand, but it was a bottle of vodka. And then I bought a packet of Maynards. I bought razor blades, and yeah, that is all I bought. I bought those 3 things, and then I went back home. And when I got there, got in the house, played music so loud, and then I had pills. I don't even know the name of the pills, but all I know is that they were capsules, like the capsules that you could open, and it had powder inside. So I took the vodka with no dash. I took the vodka with no dash, hoping that my lungs would fail if I finished that entire bottle, and I would bleed to death, I suppose. So I took every I think about 2 or 3 capsules with every shot of vodka, and then the sweets I would eat just to tone down the bitterness of the vodka. And then when I started feeling intoxicated, that's when I took the razor blade and cut my veins. So my hands do have marks, but more this side than this side, because this is where I was trying to go as deep into my veins as possible, so that I would lose as much blood as possible, or I would cut down the veins. So yeah, that's what I did. So I played loud music, took the vodka with the capsules inside, so with the capsule powder inside, and did the whole cutting afterwards. The last thing I remember was me unlocking the door. That is the only thing I remember from that time, was me unlocking the door so that whoever walks into the room has easy access, does not have to break the door, you know. I cannot be putting people and tormenting them so much through if I pass away and they still need to struggle to get me, to get my body, I know it's dark humor, to get my body out. So I unlocked the door, and hear me when I say that when I woke up in a hospital. I woke up in Jubilee Hospital. I had pipes all over my body. I had drips all over. I had tubes that goes through my mouth, that goes through my nose, that goes I had catheters. I had drips everywhere. I didn't know what was happening. My clothes had been cut, obviously by the doctor, so that they get access to whatever access they needed. So I woke up, and then I couldn't understand how I got there. I was numb. I was lost. So I saw a social worker, and post being discharged, then I was taken to Vista Hospital, because I think when I was taken to to Jubilee, I don't think they knew at the time that I could be taken maybe to a private hospital. But then it was an emergency. There was no time to drive me from Hammanskraal to Tropong, or to Legae. The nearest hospital was Jubilee, and I got help there, like serious help. So, and then from there I was discharged from Jubilee straight into Vista. I went straight into Vista. That's where I started getting psychological help, and started my healing journey. But trust me, when I woke up, I did not have regrets. I actually started thinking of better ways on how I'm gonna do it. Crazy, because I knew that reality was not gonna wash away. It was not gonna go away at all. 2018. Was it 2018? Why am I mixing dates? I don't know why am I mixing dates. 2016. Shoo, let me stop dating this whole scenarios so that it doesn't confuse me further. But then I was admitted to Vista, and then after my discharge, I went home in Denelton. I was cared for by my grandmother, and my siblings were there. This whole thing took a toll on them so bad. My sister used to tell me on about, like, she doesn't know what she would do if she had lost me. Like, if she had lost me as well. I think also to her, realizing that my grandmother was falling ill, it was the case of what all I'm gonna have now is my brother and my sisters. My brothers and my sisters. So I know it was very selfish of me, but it only made sense to do it. A year down the line, my grandmother fell sick. That's when I was trying to tell you guys that I was called in that my grandmother was admitted in hospital. And that's when I realized that she's actually very, very, very sick. I remember Kili Koskolong, when I was in varsity, I told my friend at the time that, Chomi, Oma is sick. And every day I get a call from home, being given updates about her well-being. I'm scared. I live with fear. And let me tell you what, a day later, not even, I think maybe I could feel it. A day later, I'm getting a call early in the morning. I was writing an exam on that day. So I'm sorry, I got interrupted. I was saying that I'm getting a call. Yeah, I was writing a test on that same day. Shocking how I lose people whenever I write tests. Maybe this is a test of life. So I'm getting a phone call on that day. Who called me? Shoo, my younger brother again. Yeah, I'm getting a call from my younger brother. On phone like a phone, yeah. My grandmother. No, my grandfather. No, actually, I got two missed calls from my grandfather, and then the third call, that's the one which I picked up, and I'm getting a call from my little brother, Oberekisha, my grandfather's phone, and then he's telling me, hello, Charlene, almost oorlede. Again, another oorlede.
Now listen, daughter, pay attention, pray and listen, hear your father. These lies they told are so familiar, they will haunt you, they will kill you, keep you hostage, king will heal you. Before him, adore him, he will give you everything. Come and take your wedding, going back to what I used to know. But please hold my hand as I go down this road. Can't keep going back to what I used to know. But please hold my hand as I go down this road. Can't keep going back to what I used to know. But please hold my hand as I go down this road. Can't keep going back to what I used to know. Lord, please hold my hand as I...
That oorlede is the one that I never wanted to hear. It's the one that I feared the most. It's the one that I feared hearing the most. That oorlede took a serious toll on my life. That's the day when I realized that my biggest fear had come to life. And what I was going to do about it on that day was all up to me. But it would shock you at the time how much faith and trust I had in God. You know, during my grandmother's passing, I think I was numb. I think I was already numb from losing so many people. And strength was all I prayed to God for. I remember the very same day when I lost her, when I got the call, all I did, I didn't even like scream. I cried. And all I kneeled down. I remember kneeling beside my bed. And all I asked from God that day was strength. Strength to carry me through it all. Strength for me to help my brother raise these kids. Strength for me to be a better version of myself for these little ones. And I knew that I would be a mother to my siblings that day. My brother would be a father to our younger siblings because we only had each other. So yeah, so basically it's how it transpired. But let me tell you, when I say God's timing is so perfect, and he puts you in situations with a plan. When it all happened, when I was called that my grandmother had just passed, literally the week before I was getting married, like Nekintwa Maradi by my husband's family. Never before, but that week before she passed away, I was getting married to my husband. It was the week when the Lobola negotiations happened and the Lobola celebration happened. So hear me when I say that my grandmother, my God took away my grandmother, but at the same time, he gave me my husband's, and he gave me a mother within my husband's mom. He gave me a new family, and giving me a new family gave me strength to be able to care for my siblings. Because trust me, in the biggest way possible, my husband stepped in for myself and my kids and my siblings. He stepped in so much. And my brother at the time, he also had a piece job. My brother's girlfriend at the time also assisted financially. We were never stranded. We were never as stranded as I thought we would be. And God just changed the whole narrative. So listen when I tell you that in all God's timing, I knew to trust him even more. I knew to trust him even more. I never knew that life would turn out the way it turned out for me, for us, you know. There's never a time when we slept on an empty stomach. There's certainly things that still hurts me till today, but I'm grateful for the little that we have. I'm grateful to be able to clothe my siblings. I'm grateful to be able to step in wherever I possibly can to be a parent to them. So I grew a lot from trying to commit suicide. I grew so much. I think with all the counseling and the classes that I used to attend and the help that I got, a lot changed. A lot changed. And I'm totally grateful. And I started to know God even more. And I started to understand that he's got plans and we don't have control over his plans, you know. So yeah.
Listen, daughter, pay attention, pray and listen, hear your father. These lies they told are so familiar. They will haunt you, they will kill you, keep you hostage. King will heal you before him, adore him. He will give you everything. Come and take your wedding going back to what I used to know.